Hey guys, it's Vulcan Wolverine or Kyle. It's Saturday during the day. I just wanted to make a short video asking people who make videos to do something certain. I think it may be common sense for y'all, and I may ramble on a little bit because that's how I do it. But what I've been doing, I think I've told y'all this in my videos. Like I'll make videos, but also I'll go around on YouTube to get all the other testimonies of target individuals, and I'll subscribe to their channels, even if I don't believe all their theories. I'll subscribe, and then when people come to my channel, they see who you subscribe to. So I wanted to ask everybody else who makes videos and has a channel, even if you've only made like one video or two videos, to go ahead and subscribe to anybody who you watch who's giving a testimony about this. Because what I think that'll do is I think that'll make little nodes of kind of information, on YouTube, where you won't have to go searching around under different topics, directed energy weapons, target individuals, organized gang stalking. Because you can go to a channel if you catch somebody, like if you catch one target individual's testimony, they'll have a list of testimonies that you can watch. I think that'll really help us. I think that'll really help to disseminate information, as well as just maybe encouraging people to make more videos. I don't know in my situation if it's hurt or helped me to make videos. I don't think it matters with these people, because they kind of just lie about whatever you do and make it bigger. My gang stalking is very huge now. I hold it back with plates and plugs and certain defensive weapons. I live in under actual physical covering and enclosure, and I've showed that on some of my videos. But it's very big. This guy, I just drove to the Home Depot to get some Gorilla Tape to hold my bumper together. So instead of fixing my bumper and my engine in my car, I buy defensive stuff. So my bumper's like falling off. I have to keep it up with tape. And it was easy at first, because what I'd do is I'd just click my bumper in. It had these little rungs, and they'd click in. But what these guys did is every night when I was sleeping, they'd break it a little bit more to now, like they broke off the whole front that was the same like that, and now they're working on both sides of the bumper, and they work on it every night just a little bit, and they actually broke one of the latches that latches in there. They broke the part that kind of slides in and kind of held it up. They just totally broke the piece of plastic off. I mean, it's stuff that no way could have happened naturally, and I watched it progress a little bit at a time, and it's kind of funny, because it's a little bit of a metaphor for how they, do things with us. They'll start small with some type of harassment or, something that you'll notice, and then it just blows. They'll just keep adding stuff until you can't keep the bumper up, basically. But I got some Gorilla Tape. I got some clear Gorilla Tape that's so powerful. It really works good. So buy Gorilla Tape if you want to keep anything together. And I guess that's the main news I want to say. I wanted to say that I go on conference calls because I'm in touch with a guy in New York who has one. Go to talkshoe.com. And there are conference calls, I think almost like every day in the evenings. There's conference calls about every kind of aspect. And, I was on a conference call last night with new target individuals who'd been going through for like 40 to 50 years. In the same room, it was like 15 people. And we just sat there, I think from like 8 to 11:30. It was a long call, and it was like we were all talking and getting information across, and they're really good if you feel isolated. And you just go to talkshoe.com. You can actually make your own. You can schedule your own calls and put them on there, and people can go on there and see when your conference calls are. I might start having a call. I don't know. I kind of like. It was funny because I was on the conference call last night, and I have a big mouth. Like, I wasn't getting into fights with anybody, but the guy it was his call, and he was just making a general announcement, and I was like, oh I want to add this, and he like muted me. And it's not like, I mean, it's nobody. I really did need to be muted because it was his call, but I started laughing because I was like, man, I got a huge mouth. I kind of sometimes I'll just talk, and I'm gonna try and like listen more on those calls, but I feel like I have a lot of information that I want to give people, because this is a battle. And I'm thinking with my situation, it's like there's no way to put the genie back in the bottle with this. My guy, he doesn't base anything off of something I'm doing to him. He bases it off of he can lie about me and get people to hate me and get people to drive around with one-light cars. I saw 25 just on the way to Home Depot, which is a 5-minute drive. I saw about 25 one-light trucks. A lot of trucks. Sadly, I do see a lot of cars with veterans license because he's ex-military, and he tries to play it like I disrespect the military or policemen, which is so not true. They fight for our country even when the wars aren't justified. They go, and with honor they do that. I hate my attacker because he's terrorizing and murdering me and hurting my family. He knows that women and children are being, cooked alive in their homes because, he monitors my phone and stuff, and so he knows when I'm on a conference call, and he knows who I'm talking to. And he still goes about it and just says he has to do it. He I was on the conference call last night, and I can kind of hear muffled V2K because I got it blocked out pretty good. But it's like one lady was talking, and I think, she was new to it, so she was trying to, kind of figure things out. And, I heard him and talking, and he's like, see, they're all crazy on there. That's why we're doing this. So he not only hears these Americans suffering, he, tries to incorporate it into why they're doing it, which is sick. And I heard that kind of on the V2K a little bit, a mumble of it. They yell at me. They're hurting my family so bad. I went yesterday because I've decided to go for disability. I don't want to get another job and have, the V2K and the torture and stuff like that. I'm just not reliable at a job. I don't want to. I actually don't want to put a business that I go into at risk unless I have to. I mean, I know I can do it. I know I can struggle through it. But I'm trying to find an avenue to buy time right now to pay my bills and help my family a little bit because they picked up, they're picking up this round of bills for me, and they don't have enough money, and they're being hit by this too, this organized gang stalking. I look like I'm just crazy, and then it's hurting my family because I'm just mentally impaired or whatever. But it's really, really hurting my family, and it's really going on. And these people are just kind of building up their weapons. They don't care. I have to, I'm not going to try and figure them out. That's for another video. But it's like they know my family's being very, very hurt by it. My father had a cop, he's vehicularly stalked while I'm in the car. I'm being vehicularly stalked while he's driving. And he said that he was driving the other day, and a cop just kind of got behind him. He wasn't doing anything wrong, he wasn't speeding or anything like that. The cop looked up his license plate, stopped him, and got him for an expired sticker, an expiration sticker. And that's very fishy to me since what's going on around me is so big, and they are trying to hurt my family financially. They know they're hurting my family financially while they get new cars and they get their blood money or whatever, however it goes. It's really sick. They are terrorizing innocent Americans and raping them. The things that I'm not going to go into detail of what a lot of these women mainly with children, the women that I talk to, it's not like I talk to women and there's some with children and I'm like, wow, it's that's kind of the norm, that it's women with children, and what they talk about, especially when they microwave you in your sleep and they'll induce dreams. What they talk about, I don't want to repeat on these videos. I'd rather them talk about it themselves because they do things like that to me as a male. But these women talk about some very, very atrocious, horrible, and I would call them satanic things that are so gruesome and so unthinkable that my jaw just drops, and I don't know what I'm dealing with. the gang stalking and the targeting, I don't know what I'm dealing with, and then I hear that, and it just brings me to a whole new level of this is just way more evil than I thought. It's always like, this thing never surprises me, and I'm like, oh, well, I see why they do that. It's always like, wow, that's infinity times more evil than I even thought. So the conference call is talkshoe.com. That's one of my points, because a friend in Canada, he was like, he's got you can go on there and you can make your own name and you can do your own conference calls and schedule them. So it's very useful. They're always going on. So if you're a new target individual, definitely go on those. There are people who've been going through this there was an older woman last night who had been going through it for, I think, 40 or 50 years. So there's people with a lot of knowledge about how to get through it. Then there's people who, are maybe younger and know the technology, and there's different conference calls for different things. So talkshoe.com. So it's talk and then shoe, SHOE.com. And then you go on there. I haven't even gone on there yet. My friend tells me about the calls. You dial up the number, and then you dial in a PIN number and then a 1 in pound if you're just a visitor. But if you've actually signed up, I think you have a certain PIN number. And they're great. We sit there too long and talk about it because it consumes our life. So we sit on the calls, and it's like, starts at 8, and then by the time I knew it, it was like 11:30 or 12:30. But they especially for people who've just gotten into this and they don't know what to do, it gives you so much information, and it just makes you feel connected because there's so many of us. Like, I think there's millions in the world. I think there's hundreds of thousands in America, who are being stalked and targeted. What happens to these women is unthinkable. Like, I mean, they do stuff that's unthinkable to me, but since I'm a male, it's a little bit easier to swallow, I think, for everybody, even the people involved. I don't know how these people do some of this stuff. I mean, it's bad for everybody. You're cooking somebody in their sleep, and that's, you use the microwave radiation to remotely cook somebody in their sleep. That's bad, but you do it to a woman with a child or a young woman, an intelligent young woman who is peaceful and just wants to go about her life, and that's the sickest thing I've ever heard of in my life. I won't get into the details, but talk to some of them, and I guess we need to hear horror stories. We need to hear stories of hope too. I feel like, I know I'm looking at my situation, and it's so bloated. There are people. There's actually, I know I told y'all in one video that my neighbor had called the police on me and said I had a weapon in my house, which, how would he know? He's never been in my house. I don't have a weapon, so he was lying. How would he have gotten to this knowledge? I have no idea, but then I had police show up to my house with guns drawn, and one of the cops who had a gun drawn on me, I went to the corner store today, to just get something to drink and something to eat, and he was sitting at one of the gas station things, the filling stations. And while I was there, he was just sitting there the whole time. And I sat there because I had to mess with the tape on my bumper, and I was there for 30 minutes or 15 to 30 minutes. I was sitting there messing around with all my stuff, and he was just there. Like, he didn't just get gas and go. And so I left, and then I noticed that guy that was sitting at that pump, that's the word, he was following me into my neighborhood, and he drove by because I had to stop and put the tape back on my bumper. Eventually I got that Gorilla Tape, so it's working real good, but the bumper was down, and he rolled by, and he's like, oh, that's old damage right there. And I noticed that it was the guy who had a gun drawn on me at my house. So he is involved in the patrolling or stalking of me. I don't think he knows I'm being microwaved in my house, but they did come into my house. They saw the aluminum foil, so I think he's been lied to, and now he's part of the harassment without knowing about the microwaves. I think a lot of the policemen are. I think they get drawn in These people who are microwaving you, they lie to policemen. They think, oh, police just aren't going to understand, they're not going to understand my plan for murdering this person and lying about them, so I'll need to tell them something. I'll need to lie to this guy's parents or whatever. And those are called criminals, but he thinks that he's like, I guess, above a policeman or some kind of special agent that goes around and executes Americans like vermin, cooks them and tortures them. Whatever's in his head, it's wrong and bad. But I just kind of wanted to make a short video saying anybody with a video. I do want to mention a channel. God, I hope he doesn't mind. I do want to mention I've subscribed to him, and I want to go ahead and mention a channel because he does like 10-minute videos. He's so concise, and he gives out like he believes what I believe, and like from the videos I've seen, he has the same kind of philosophy about this and what's going on as I do. But I'll make like an hour-and-a-half video. I'll talk about my experiences, what the details, and I'll ramble and stuff like that. He's very concise, and he's very intelligent, and he thinks pretty much exactly what I think is going on with this. And I guess I'm gonna go ahead and give out his channel, because this is a target individual channel. He's doing a target individual channel. I don't think he'll mind. Gotham Nation. It's like Gotham and then space Nation. Very intelligent guy. If you don't like my videos, if you're like, man, this guy talks too much, I just want some short videos, some information, and I have it on my channel. Like, I subscribe to him. He's great. Like, he's very smart. He has good advice. He's not trying to preach or anything like that. I don't even know if he's religious. But he's very, very intelligent. I would definitely, because he wraps it up. He knows, he just has a very good head on his shoulders about how this works, and he pretty much thinks kind of what I do about what's going on in our system and this program, from a surface level, kind of how these people are indoctrinated. Just he has very, very good opinions and very good facts about this whole thing, and I hope he doesn't mind. I think I'm going to get in contact with him after this, because I don't like doing that, but it's such, I was watching his videos, and I was like, I don't have to talk to my attackers anymore, because that's what I believe. I'll just turn on all of his videos, and that's what I believe, But very smart guy. What else do I want to say? This is kind of just a video on the fly on a Saturday, because I haven't made a video in a while. It's constant. The guys up in the house, constantly they're yelling at me. They're like, we gotta. It's very dangerous sounding. He's like, we gotta go ahead and burn this guy. They say, let's cook him, and then they'll turn around to his wife and be like, honey, we have to do this. So they're like real two-faced. It's like, oh, look how compassionate our voices are. I can kill that guy, yeah. So it's horrifying. I mean, they hear the conference calls I'm on. They hear the old women who are being tortured. They hear the young women. They hear, everybody who's going through this, and they know. I mean, they know who's getting hurt. And I don't know. My opinion is that it just strengthens this guy. I think this guy is just like, people are doing it in society. So I don't think he hears the suffering of a lot of people and says, there are a lot of people suffering in this, I'm going to stop. I think he's like, oh, well, a lot of other people are doing it, and these people are crazy. I think he condemns them too and just accepts it. And he's like, well, it's a lot of it going on, so I'm okay, which is the worst way to think and live. And it creates atrocity and piles of dead bodies in every society, that way of thinking. I hope I'm not being too negative on this video, because the conference calls are great. They give us hope. With my situation, I was kind of talking about, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. I feel like it's a tick growing and growing and growing. I feel like the guy who's attacking me is like, this is too big to fail. We've already spent so much money, we spent so much time terrorizing this guy and his family and hurting him that we have to follow through with it. So many resources have been spent. I think my opinion is it's too big to live. Like this program, even in our individual cases, I think you got to just go ahead and feed it like a tick. And with all the cases and all the new targeted individuals, it's eventually going to pop. Like, because with the information that's getting out, there's more good Americans than people who are ignorant and will get involved in this. So it's eventually going to pop. I think they'll always, like our society and the people who control our money, will always figure out ways to kind of screw us over and try and reduce the middle class to ashes. I think that's kind of here now. I think that's kind of a plan. But I don't think it's hopeless with the targeted individual organized gang stalking system. I think it's going to get so big, it's going to be so blatant, and it already is, that people are, they're not going to be able to turn away from it. Even good, like my parents don't really believe me, but there's going to be a time, like I need to get a tri-meter, and this is what my weakness is. I keep saying I'm going to do things, but then I'll, by defense, more, because like being comfortable is so important to me. They do still hurt me through my defenses, but it's so much less than it would be. But I want to get a tri-meter, and I'm going to get that on video. Hopefully I get the disability. My problem is that, with the disability, I talked to the judge, and I told the truth, but the bad thing about the truth is I'm intelligent, and I've held very intelligent jobs, like at a computer company. Then my last job was setting up oxygen, so I had to be intelligent. These people, if I don't set up the oxygen right, or the suction machines, lots of medical equipment, it's people who could get hurt and actually die if I don't do that. So the problem is that I am intelligent, but I did, when I went for my disability, I brought pictures of how I live because of the targeting. I told him exactly that. I said that I was being targeted from local and remote sources, because you want to make sure that you don't pinpoint somebody, because they'll see you as a danger, and you want to make sure, if you're telling anybody of authority, you want to make sure that you're like, I'm not a danger to myself and others. This is just a situation that it's like somebody's targeting me and doing this. Maybe somebody in my neighborhood. I guess when you get a lawyer, and you start going after the person that you know it is, then you want to be very specific, but be very careful if you do go to authorities. A lot of targeted individuals would say, do not go to authorities, don't go to psychiatrists. I go to a psychiatrist to get medicine, like I take Ativan, which calms me down, and then they do have me on Geodon, which is an antipsychotic, which I take. I do what I'm supposed to, but it does help me. He hasn't condemned me, and he kind of goes along with me, and says that it's something that he doesn't really know about, but still he needs to help me with the depression and anxiety, which I do have depression and anxiety. This is a very depressing, huge, extreme situation of murder and terrorism, mind rape. Now they are getting a lot of the remote stuff through, and a lot of the things that the women said that were disgusting, they do to me. One thing I did hear is that a big reason, not only to mess with you, or to set triggers for you with remote neural monitoring when you're sleeping, they do want to overlay fake images or dreams over your REM sleep, because then you're not getting any of that deep sleep that heals your body, or makes you feel more restful when you wake up, gives you more energy. So I heard that from a target individual, and I don't remember who it was. I would recommend, there was like a coast-to-coast special on target individuals. I'd look that up on YouTube. There's a lot of different people talking about it. It was somebody on there, and he was saying they microwave dreams in, during his REM cycles. So his dreams don't it kind of overlays over your dreams, and you don't get the best sleep. And that's an unbelievable thing. These microwaves are very, very powerful. It is an advanced technology. It's hard to believe in, but they can do really amazing stuff. I think they could do a lot of good in this world. Not these people, but this technology could do a lot of good in this world used in the right way. These people are using it for ritual murder and mind raping and infinite torture, infinite murder. Basically false flagging you, false flagging you to the point where it's like, to an incredible point. I don't want to get into details about that, but I've gotten into details about that in earlier videos. But I do want to mention another thing. Man, I go all over the place. I need to get like at least an outline so I can kind of say, okay, this, because I'm like back and forth. That's why Gotham Nation, like, he thinks like me about what's going on, but he's very concise and he has something planned out, and it's usually like a 7 to 10 minute video. So if you get annoyed by me and you're like, this guy, he's talking about this and he's talking about that, I would definitely recommend his videos. I hope he doesn't mind, because they're great. Like, I listen to him and I'm just like, boy, to the point, bam, yeah. That's just like, even if I wanted to do that, I don't think I could. This is kind of how it's going to be. And I'll try and rein it in a little bit more, but this is kind of how I am and how I want to do it. I want to do it with my personality and my views. But in the way that my personality kind of works. So I feel that brings out the truth more. I feel like, for me at least, I know some people, they can plan something, be concise, and that really brings the truth out for them. For me, it's kind of like I need to kind of be off the cuff. Sometimes I come up with ideas that I didn't even think of, and I'll watch a video back and I'll be like, wow. Like that one time when I was like, there's a resource out there that God's going to, show us, we're going to get that we don't know about. It's not in our mind. And it's going to come to us. It's like that was just on the video. Like, I hadn't been thinking about that. And I guess that's kind of why I want to do it the way that I'm doing, because I'll watch my videos back trying to just see if I make sense sometimes. And sometimes I kind of motivate myself a lot of times, because I'm not giving advice. I'm trying to figure things out. But I heard about, and this was on the Coast to Coast special about electronic harassment and gang stalking. There are actually tools for bird watching. So if you're like watching birds and there's a bird far away, I think there's a device that's not too expensive where it can pick up their chirping, and it has to be very sensitive. So I really wanted to find out what this is and see how expensive it is and order it. So I could just put it against the wall where the V2K is coming from. And I feel like he may stop the V2K, be scared that it'll get evidence, just like the trimeter. He may stop some of it sometimes, but it's good either way, because it'll get evidence. If he doesn't say, he's like, screw that, whatever, I'm not stopping, I'm going to hurt this guy. Then I get evidence. If he does stop, then I stop him. Then I've got a deterrent, set up. So it's like, it's starting to come down for me. Like, they are attacking me. It is big. My name has been slandered, kind of under the surface. But for me, it started as every angle that I went, it was like I lose. Any angle that I try, I lose. And now it's slowly coming to, like, any angle that I'm going to play or he's going to play, he's going to lose. Because even if he killed me with this stuff, then my parents would really question it. These videos would be listened to a lot more. It would help a lot more people. And that would be, I don't want to die. Sometimes, like I've heard a lot of people say this, and I'm kind of on board with them. It's like they don't want to die, but it's like they want out of this because it's so horrible and it's so crazy and brutal, and and satanic. That's the only word that I can get even close to the evil nature of this. Communistic, underground communism, underground fascism, satanic, brutal murder, terrorism. But they say, like, they don't want to commit suicide because they love life, but it's just like they kind of just want out, and I feel like that. I can't do that. My religion and my philosophy, my spirit, they don't allow me to do that. Like, I don't have a choice in that, so I'll never do it. And I decide not to. But I do understand that feeling. I do really understand that feeling because it's so terrible. But even if if he were to kill me, it would raise questions with my parents. They would fight a lot harder in this. These videos would be a lot more poignant to people who didn't believe. So it's kind of whatever he does, the more he hurts me, the more he's going to validate what I'm saying. And that was one thing that Bill Cooper did when he first put out his information. He felt like he was in a lot of danger. So he just sent out information in envelopes to people, to all over the world, because it was before the internet and stuff like that, or it was like in the beginning stages of the internet. And he just sent out envelopes to everybody, to peep strangers, and then got on CNN and just got out there and got his name so big that it was like they kind of risked going after him because people would know, he would be validated. And that's what I'd really like for all of us, to get out there. Somebody on the conference call asked, has anybody been to the news media? And I'm scared to go, and we all were kind of like, you could get in trouble or, thrown in the behavioral center again or whatever. But we need to get out in front of this, so that it validates our claims when we tell people in certain ways, and a lot of us are doing that. So I understand people who they have a job or something, and they don't want to get all out there. So there are people doing that, but I think it's important in the long run. I think for this to end, we all kind of do need to speak. That's my opinion, but I understand the people just want to get on a conference call and listen. Just get connected to it somehow, and you can do that stuff anonymously if you don't feel like speaking out. But I have a real strong opinion that you might as well, and I've heard a lot of other people say this, you might as well fight this as hard as you can, because if you stay silent, it'll get worse, and if you fight it, it'll get worse. It's going to get worse no matter what you do, because it's not dependent on your actions, and it never has been. Everybody who's picked for this, most of them aren't dangerous. They haven't done crimes, and I don't know, most of the people that I talk to, and so it really doesn't make a difference what you do. They're going to come at you really hard, and they're going to try and build it up from what I've seen. But just I think on a larger scale, not just mine, not my situation, I see new targeted individuals almost every day, and I know these weapons are getting into the hands of people who are very unhinged, who are doing very irresponsible things, and that's dangerous on one hand. On another hand, this program's getting so bloated, it's getting so corrupted, it's getting so in our faces that'll be the end of it. That'll be its end. I think a lot of these people involved are like, well, the bigger it gets, the more people will accept it. I beg to differ on that, because I think there are more good Americans, more good people in the world than there are psychopaths and people willing to kill others. I don't think that. I know that. Like, that's from heavy research and living life. And there is a slow kind of infection, I guess, or infiltration of evil philosophies and cynicism and narcissism that leads to this kind of stuff. But all in all, people are good. The majority of people are good. And that will be these people's downfall with this program. If things aren't hidden, people will fight against them, and that's why they're doing this. That's why and I would say they is the people who control the money. the families that control the money and they have the power, not just in the country, but over, federal banks and, all of our money of the world. And these people want to keep their power. They'll do whatever they have to keep it, and they'll find the people that will help them to keep it. And they won't necessarily be loyal to those people, but they'll find them. They'll find the people who, can go ahead and lie to themselves and say that it's going to help society. I guess that's all I want to say. This little short 30-minute video is kind of a... I had some other stuff I wanted to say. What else? Am I missing anything? No, I guess that's a good update. Like, I'm not getting hurt too bad. I hope I get, some of the Social Security money. I probably would buy, another plate, but then I'd use the rest of it to just pay my bills and stuff. Because it's right on the edge with mine. It's like, the problem with me is I have too many plates, but it's not because they're not powerful enough. What it is that, well, I guess it is because they're not powerful enough, but what it is there's two sides of his house that he goes to. So if I just put all the plates on one side and he had all of his equipment on that one side of the house, boom, take care of it. But then he'd just move everything to the other side of the house. So he's got two sides of the house to work with. So I have to split them up, and then I think he'll move it all to one side to get all the all the power he can get from it. So I have to use like half of my defensive forces, to try and deter him from going to that side. Alright, but that's about it. I guess I just want to reiterate, like, people who do have videos, if you do go around on YouTube watching other people's testimonies, definitely do subscribe to them, because people will see them on your channels. I think bigger things are in the work for systems of, like this conference call system is great. And I think we can even do something. I saw a video on Stephen Greer who's trying to further disclosure. They actually had disclosure, but it didn't really shake the world. It didn't really do what they wanted it to do. But what he's done with CSETI, and that's, I guess, they deal with a lot of sightings of extraterrestrials and research into that. They make informational nodes around the world, people who are in CSETI, and then they have specific to them, communication online specific to them. And I know we do. I know FCHS, I think that's right. That's the big organization that hosts a lot of these conference calls. Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance, yeah, FCHS. They have a lot of, OSHA has a lot of places you can connect, but I think that, we could do more, independent networks of target individuals that are kind of like our own Skype or something. If we have some people who know computers real well, know how to set it up, or we can get people to help us. There's a lot of stuff in the works. There's a lot of stuff in the works, even from like people like me that are just doing videos and just communicating with targeting. There's a lot of stuff in the works just from that. And then there are these huge organizations that just work on this. So there's a lot of hope, and there's a lot of hope in the future. There's so much information getting made every day. It's sad on one end because I see a lot of new target individuals, but there's so many new videos coming out because of it, and so much more information. People aren't going to be able to turn a blind eye to this. It's on Dr. Phil. It's been on Dr. Phil twice. I believe both of the guys who were on there, especially the second guy who actually had a situation, very similar to mine, where he knew the voice that was V2K'ing him. And his parents are almost exactly like mine. Like, his dad just wanted him to get over it, and his mom was a little bit more empathetic, but still was just thought he was kind of crazy. But so there's a lot of information out there. People are doing interviews about it. just get as much information as you can to empower you. There are defensive mechanisms. That's one hopeful aspect, that the things to defend ourselves are going to get better and better, because if we need it so bad, and we need something more powerful, and people can make money off of it because there's so many target individuals, they're going to make it. That's kind of the supply and demand, business that will help us a lot. But just keep trucking, keep believing. Whatever you believe in, I believe in Jesus Christ and God. He moves me along. He shows me things through the world, like beautiful things that's like keep on going. One lady, I do kind of believe her. I believe that everything happens for a reason. I hate saying that we're in this, like that we were destined to be on this side, but I do feel like that with my situation. I don't want to speak for anybody else, but I feel like this was part of the plan, and it's not gonna always be horrible. And it is horrible, the most horrible thing I could ever imagine sometimes. But I've had Crohn's since I was 10, and I've helped a lot of people with that. It's helped me in this situation, being in pain from Crohn's from 10 to now, and I haven't been in pain from that for a while, but that experience, I prayed to God every day, and I was like, why are you doing this to me? What does this mean? And getting into this, it's helped me to survive this so much more, to not give up, to keep fighting. So I kind of see how that thing that I thought was evil worked to make me stronger for this. So I don't want to speak for everybody and say, you're meant to be in this, but where I'm sitting, and the people I talk to, sometimes I'm like, this is where I belong. I can help people here. These are people who we need the most help. I and other target individuals, we're going through torture. People don't believe us. If it was torture and people knew about it, like when I had Crohn's and I was real sick, my parents knew about it, my community knew about it, there was the truth there, and it was less painful because there was a lot of things to not give up for, to push through it. And here it's like people think you're crazy. People will they don't spit at me, but they label me the terrorist while this guy's murdering me. This guy's lying to police. The police are watching out for me as a person of interest. And it seems like that makes you kind of like want to give up, because it's like, why am I even doing this? People are just going to hate me no matter what I do. And this guy gets to murder, and he's going to be, the community's going to be like, good job, that crazy person, you're harassing him. But it's not like that. There are people out there who do know what you're going through. They support you so much. They love you. So it's an illusion. These negative people around you who act like they're making all the decisions about society, that's an illusion, that's a lie. And there is a greater truth. The truth is like on the top and underneath. It's all mixed up in all these lies, and we've just got to shuffle through it. We've got to make these lies and this target individual stuff just feast so much, because we're not going to be able to put it back. We got to make these people just feast so much that they pop. They pop and people see it. I think that's going to be the way to do it. I mean, we'll push them back a little bit, but from what I've seen from how these people work, they don't care about anything. And that can be used to our advantage if they keep going and they do really obvious stuff. I really want to just take my parents through what they've done to my car and just, ask my dad to just be like, use your mind. This was done very slowly. It couldn't have been done by anything. Now, I know that doesn't prove the whole gang stalking, what I've been telling you about, the directed energy weapons and stuff, but incorporate it into that, and then you'll see if somebody was coming out every night to do this to my car, incorporate that into the bigger situation, and that's proof. It doesn't prove the whole thing by itself, but put it into a context, and these little pieces of evidence of all the stuff they're doing to us, it adds up. It adds up, and it proves the bigger directed energy weapons, harassment, vehicular harassment, poisoning of the property, and a lot of things that I go through, and these women we're talking about, that are almost unspeakable. I know I've talked about a lot of mine, but it's just basically stuff that's perversion and rape. I mean, I'd call it rape. That's the only thing you could call it. Like, sometimes actually physical, but sometimes using microwaves to put images. And I guess that's as far as I'll go on that. All right, guys, stay strong. Just keep on kicking. TalkShoe.com. Like, these people talk about some great things. You get a whole lot of different aspects of it, different experiences. They all pretty much fall in the same category of harassment, stalking and electronic torture, but a little bit different, different spins on it from their different profiles. We had a great conversation last night. A lot of people think they were chipped, through surgeries or dental work. And I think that's true. I think that in the past, this stuff was done through chipping. I've had Crohn's disease, colonoscopies, I've been cut open, surgeries. All my teeth have almost been worked on. I don't totally, reject that at all. I do believe some people, this is how they do it, and this is how they have done it. But I think now the technology, and I don't know when this went from that to this, but I am sure now that microwaves and radar, these things that they're using are so powerful that they do use a type of biofeedback, and they can radar out and get your brain's frequency. If they're by you long enough, a microwave can throw stuff at you and hit your head, and it can also pick up signals and bring them back. And the microwaves are so powerful. These electromagnetic frequencies, microwave radiation, I guess whatever you want to call it, it's a very, very powerful weapon that can do a lot of stuff people don't know about yet, but targeted individuals experience it on a pretty much second-by-second basis. And I think they have upped the technology where they did need some kind of receiver in the body. And I think some people are chipped, and the biofrequencies used, the radar sent out to get an EEG or frequency of the brain through a microwave, shot out and bounced back. I think they use GPS on your phones. I think they use cameras in the house sometimes. But like the main technology that allows them to be so overreaching is that a microwave can bounce with a radar or satellite and make an image, of a lot of things. And I think we have unique signatures, which they can pick up on a radar with microwaves. So I think some people are chipped, and this is being used on the microwaves to pinpoint them. I think some people are just the microwaves are used. I don't think anybody's just chipped and that's just what they use for target individuals. That's my theory on it. Leave your comments about that, what you think. Everybody has different opinions because it's stuff we don't know about. We're looking from the other side, but we're figuring it out. There are people that are smart enough to put together the pieces of the puzzle, see trends, deduce things, and we are figuring it out. We're figuring out how this stuff works from the other side, and we're going to keep going. Keep trusting in God, keep trusting in your spiritual side. Look for positive signs in your life through the things you love to keep you going. Keep communicating with your family and friends, even if they don't believe you. I haven't been doing a good job, so that's advice to myself. Like, a friend wants to go to a movie all the time and hang out, and I keep on kind of blowing him off because I feel bad. One of my friends who I haven't seen in 2.5 years invited me to, like, I was playing this game, and you can kind of invite somebody over over the internet he could join in, and I hid it. Like, I could have talked to him afterwards. I didn't do it on purpose, but I kind of deleted it off, and then I was like, I could have got in touch with him to do it, but I kind of stayed away from it. So I haven't been doing good in that area. I've been staying very isolated. Besides the conference calls and talking to, my friend in Canada who's going through this, my friend in New York. But I think we need to do that. We need to stay in touch with, even with people who aren't going through this and don't really want to hear it. Do regular things with them because it'll help you too. I know this is a horrible thing that you want to tell people. This is why I say this. I want to preface what I'm saying because a smart young lady on a conference call last night was saying, people need to know about this. I want to tell them about this. And I was like, yeah, and I feel her on that. But the way I talked to my mom about it, my mom's like, I can't take this anymore. And it becomes like a disaster. Talk to people and feel them out and do tell them, but I guess I won't give advice on that. Y'all know how to deal with that. Alright guys, this is going to kind of end it for me, end it for this video. I'll make another one shortly. If I get any new information, I'm hampered by my financial situation because I have to do my bills first, so I'm kind of trying to use what I have right now as defense. So I can't buy a trimeter. I really need to get my car fixed. But branch just fell on those people's yard. We always have branches falling on our roof. I have branches falling on my roof. And they have branches. We have trees that are so old around here. I got a big, I don't know if y'all have seen, I guess y'all have seen my yard, but I got this big oak tree. Can you see that? And the limbs are so old, and sometimes they'll just fall on the roof. You see those limbs? Those huge limbs, I don't know if y'all can see that, but there's two huge limbs, and one of them's real big, and it could have just rolled down and just cut off my electricity. I don't think that wasn't anything to do with gang stalking. It's just an old tree. I will admit though, I did get kind of paranoid because I see tree people in our yard a lot. I mean, in our neighborhood a lot, and I'm like, how far will these people go? Because I know they've got connections. They have keys to my house, keys to my car. Things that locksmiths would have to do. Connections to plumbers and stuff like that. So I'm like, they get some tree people to cut a limb in half and just, put it right on top of my electricity. Try not to go there. May have just given them an idea. But I think that'd be too hard because they'd have to schedule it. It's at my house. I don't think they'd be able to do that. It'd be going too far. It's people trying to do stuff that they can really easily get away with. Alright, I love you guys. I'm not doing too bad, I'm not doing too good. I kind of, the weird thing with these plates is, and that's why I'm so scared to move them because I have so many, is I'll move one. I'll just move it a little bit and it'll make a big difference. To where I can wake up in the morning and not feel like I've been cooked too bad, I've been cooked about halfway as bad. So, and that's just moving a plate, cup in front of something that I think. So it's if I'm moving, I'm so scared. And I that is something that I actually do fear because they've got a lot. It's military power. I mean, it's military power, directional energy weapons or directed energy weapons. So, I guess that is a fear. The big thing that's real in the center of this, and that I always think about, is all the cars with one lights, the lies to your neighbors or whatever, the cars driving around or police sirens. That's all fake. It's all lies. You shouldn't be intimidated by it because it's not the truth. Even if a cop did stop you because they were told you were dangerous, it's not the truth. if you're not dangerous. So you shouldn't be intimidated by that. The real things involved in this are the people who are being terrorized and hurt in their sleep, cooked, the good people who are suffering from this, the murder in the center of it, and the terrorism. Those are things that I actually do fear, because they're it's visceral, it's very violent. But all that other stuff, you just got to be strong-minded if you hear sirens or something like, because that's not based on anything real. The murder's not based on anything real, but the effect is a lot bigger than just hearing a siren or a one-light car passing by you. It's murder, terrorism. So I wouldn't feel too bad about being scared about stuff like that. But we got to get past it and just be stronger than that. It is a big deal. Don't let anybody, don't let your attackers, don't let people make you think. Tell them whatever you need to kind of get past it. It's a big deal. It's terrorism. It's a huge deal. It's not just kind of bullying somebody or something to push them out of a neighborhood. It's they follow you and they stalk you, and it's terrorism, and it really hurts people, hurts women and children. So don't let anybody convince you otherwise. All right, guys. Well, God bless. Just keep doing what y'all are doing. Keep going. Get defenses. And I'll definitely see you on the next one. Kyle out.